Hello guys, my name is Tsekov and today we are going to talk about Mashable. But not Mashable in particular, but about this dataset. I had a task from school to go to the web and find some interesting datasets, and this is what I have found. It's connected with this website. This is a big website about online news. You can find all sorts of news here, and I found some interesting threads about the articles that this website publishes. So let's get right into it. I created this infographic, and here I gathered 6 features, sort of speak, which will help you see how the top why the top articles are on top, let's say, and how can you create an article which you uh, get noticed and recognized around the web. The first thing that I researched was the shares of the top 10 Mashable articles. Here you can see the numbers and what are the titles of these articles. We have different kind of subjects and categories here, and as you can see we have a big gap between the first and the last article in the top 10, mainly because of the difference in their content. But what are the people interested in? The second step will show us this even further by looking at the category. So here we can see where the top 10 what is the category of the top 10 articles. As we can see, five of them are in the business category, which is like half of our top 10. Then we have one for technology and one for world, and 0 for lifestyle and social media. And now you're maybe wondering, how is that possible? Maybe the trend is um, this, that a lot of people are looking at business articles more than caring about their social state or lifestyle. And as well, why here we have 6 or 7 articles mentioned out of 10? That's a good question, and here I can show you why. When I researched the dataset, I found out that some of the articles don't even have a category. For example, the low cost iPhone. So some of the publishers don't even put categories, which makes it maybe quite difficult to choose where to put your article. So that's why we are going to the next step, and this is step 3. Here we can see the positive or negative words rate in an article on average. What does that mean? In each article you have all sorts of words. Mashable made a research and they made these rates that show you um, how much positive words do you have in an article and how much negative words you have in an article. In that way you can predict if the article is going to be positive or negative. Simple as that. I found this by researching the negative rates of the top 10 articles and the positive rates of the top 10 articles. I look at all of them and then I found the average. because I think this is the most important information out of this. Why? Because for example, if you want to write an article, your article might be more successful if it's about something positive, because the rate of positive words in an article is higher, and the same goes for the if you look at the top 10 articles, like 70% of them are with positive meaning. Okay, so let's get let's find even more interesting information in step 4. Let's go deep into the dataset. So what did I do here? Again, I put the top 10 articles, and now I'm looking at different, so to speak, features that they have, and this might help you see how the articles are moving up in the top 10 positions. For example, if we look at the words in the title, the this article wins because it has like more words inside. We can see which is the longest article, what was the amount of words in the content itself, or how many pictures an article has. That will be even more interesting, and in that way you can see how the user is attracted to the article. And then, for example, this is the article with most pictures, and then you can go again here to the top 10 articles and see its location. That might tell you that maybe a lot of pictures is not always the best case to do in your articles. So for example, this is the top article. We can go back to the graph and see where it is located. So what does the blue mean? That means that it has a medium number of pictures inside. So you better stick to that one if you want to be on top, for example. Then again, we can look at the videos of the article. That might be connected with the category of the article, with the news itself. For example, I saw some articles that don't have pictures, they just have videos inside. For example, 1 or 2 videos, or the other way around. The next thing that you can look at is the links in the article. Uh, I look at the website and then on the dataset, and I found out that yeah, some of the articles had a lot of links inside, linking for to different pages that might attract the user's attention, and he can look at even more articles, then share them, and then increase your, for example, total value of users if you're making this kind of website. Another trend is self links in an article. What does that mean? That means that the article points to articles connected with it, or to itself as well. So that was my graph about all these sorts of trends. I will leave it like this for a few seconds so you can have a moment with it and find something interesting for yourself. Okay, we look at the first 4 features of articles. Now let's go to the 5th one, about publishing. Here you can see at what day are the top 10 article published. Again, you can connect this with the category of the article and with the article itself. It might help you to understand where and when should you publish your article. You can see that, for example, um, these articles are published on Wednesday. They're all about the cloud and iPhone, all about technology, and they have quite big ratings. So that may seem that if you want to have high ratings on technology articles, for example, you might post them on Wednesday rather than Friday, for example. On Friday, none of the articles have been posted. That's might because it's the end of the week and no one is going to pay that much attention to them. So maybe the most important articles are published in Monday, for example, but that's not really the case. As you can see here, the most important one are on Thursday and Tuesday, connected with world problems or with problems in some kind of a big technological company. Then we can go to step 6, which is the audience. What does the audience think about it? Here I research again and I have a few graphs which show different things. The first one shows the self-reference average shares per article. What does that mean? That means that, for example, if someone uh, shares an article and then a friend of that person sees the article and decides to share it as well, that counts as a self-reference share. That means that you can see how many people responded to your interest and your share. So let's go here and see what's going on. The first spot is taken about it's about Kanye West giving a lecture in Harvard. Maybe a lot of people are interested about this singer because he's really famous and he's making something relatively different that he should do. And you see how the things are skyrocketing down. There you can see that the more serious news have less self-reference shares. Why is that, for example? In my opinion, it's because they read the article but they decide that they don't need to share it. They know all about the problem, but for example with the first one, it's really interesting one, really catchy, so they want to see that they want to show other friends that this guy, for example, made something relatively interesting and out of the ordinary. Okay, let's go back to the infographic. What is the next graph about? It's about text sentiment polarity. Again, tough words, but let's see what's the meaning behind them. Okay, let's go back to the graphs. And here is our graph. Again, a lot of rates, but what's the meaning of them? Self sentiment polarity means how the audience reacts to a different article. Do they like it? Are they satisfied with it or not? You can see that most of the people have, let's say, positive comments or positive attitude about the articles, but some of them have even negative attitude. maybe something bad happened, or people are not satisfied with what's happening. And then again, you can see the rates. For example, the first one is about low-cost iPhones. Again, everyone loves iPhones and wants to have them for a relatively cheap price, because we know the quality of the phone, and that this phone is really expensive. So this satisfies most of the people because it's an useful information. Okay, let's go to the bottom then. That doesn't mean that this information is not that useful, but you can see there was a brief meeting of IBM, and maybe the things went wrong, and maybe some of the stocks went down, and that's why the people are not satisfied enough. Again, our um, favorite in the uh, in the self-referenced self-reference table now is somewhere on the bottom about satisfaction. Maybe a lot of people saw what Kanye West did, but they didn't like it that much. They stayed kind of neutral about it. Okay, so that was my infographic, and this comes to you by Mashable and by the website that I used to find the dataset. I hope I brought some new information to you, and that this might help you create your own cool and fantastic article.